Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K rock and metal channel, and today we're going back to a band we have done on the channel a few times, but haven't done it for a while, and that is Nightwish. We're going to check out the latest video that came out a week or two ago. It's called Lanternlight. Now, this new album, looking at the critiques we've had over this album, it's a real audience splitter on this one. It's really pushed people. Some people haven't really liked the mix on the album, finding that the synth parts and the piano parts are far too high in the mix and the guitars have dropped out. Others have said no, it's fine. It depends what you're listening to on. So if you're listening on like little speakers, but then that's the thing, you've got to get your mixes right. So it works on all devices. Other feel that they've moved far too far away and they've gone to commercial pop. Others have really liked it. So I haven't heard it. I really don't know what it's going to be. So
big event in the calendar, though, any new album from this.
Yeah, but it's the first time where they've actually, probably since Dark Passion Play with when Olsen first came in, they've actually had something that's been divisive, because I don't think with the albums that Floor's done, they've never had that. People have always been like, it's really, really good, but then I think with this latest one, they're and also the fact they're not touring off this album. They decided not to do any touring. Not sure what the reasoning was behind that. There is something about it, but I haven't read the article on it, but there is a reason for it. Maybe it's because obviously Floor only recently had a child, so doesn't really want to go out on the road. Wants to stay with it, so maybe that's the reason. But yeah, we're going to check out Lanternlight and see what we think about it. Let's do it.
Gone is the hurt, the weight. Gone is the warmth of faith. A stray boat saved happy memories and craved into a velvety night beneath the lanternlight. Last night brought the heaviest of snows, melting the songs of old, tying the boat, ride a new one soon.
For a second single, it's very sedated.
Yeah, but
because the first one wasn't anything like an up-tempo Nightwish power ballad or anything like that. It wasn't like a power song.
oh, okay. So
It was a mediocre rock track with a bit of
so
symphonic
they're taking
elements.
a risk here, then, aren't they? If they're not, you'd expect the second one to
But
go
it
back
depends
to
if it's
basics.
representative of the album.
I mean, this reminds
This is
me.
starting to bring in with the
This reminds me of Tori Amos. So far.
This is the sort of thing they do in segues in the middle of the song, where they want to bridge sections. This is the sort of thing, not usually starting.
I think it's gone on this long. This is not the intro. This is the song.
It's a 6-minute song.
This is the song, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be a split of two halves where it builds
Maybe.
in this and then it goes somewhere. Don't know if I could do 6 minutes of this without just tuning out. It's trying to build, but
This is where part 2 begins. Or maybe not.
wow, that was a big transitional piece.
You were expecting that to actually.
That needed to go somewhere else,
Yeah,
not go back
drums.
to a second verse.
You needed drums and guitars, I think, there, didn't you? If they put in this as the second single, it tells you a lot about the
The way
album.
that was building with little string, it's some string sections going over the top of it. You're building to something. You're gonna go somewhere, and then it just drops right back down. This is the sort of one where you need a lyric sheet in front of you to understand what the emotional.
This could be from any of the first 5 Tori Amos albums, which, trust me, is a compliment.
So I'm looking at the footage in the background and I'm trying to get the story concept, because obviously they're using that stock footage for some particular reason. But if you're Lanternlight leading the way effectively, what's... So if you did the greatest song on earth, they did, this would have been a great 6-minute part of that 22-minute song.
Yeah, I remember when we did that.
It needs
Was it Richard Dawkins who came on at the end? Yeah.
I wonder, because you know, sort of I said like Lanternlight is about leading the way. There's a lot that looks like parents with their kids, and I wonder if this is in relation to being like a parent and leading the way for your children. She's talking a lot
Given
about
her
I will be.
Yeah.
She says that I'll be your light or something. She said there.
Yeah, you can see there that they've got that.
So I wonder if she's
generational relationship.
Maybe it's a generation before parents of.
Or even her talking about the responsibilities that are now new to her. If it's her first child, we don't know if it is.
I don't know of her. It's Troy that's doing vocals now, because obviously
the bassist left, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, Marcus.
He was so annoyed with the music industry.
It's the amount of what amount of tickets they were selling. They weren't making any real money off it.
Yeah, they were.
Who
Yeah.
else was taking it? It's probably why they're not touring. They're like, screw it. They did something similar to this on Dark Passion Play called The Islander, but that built and it had a flow to it. It was chilled out, but it had a natural flow.
Yeah.
This is going to be, someone's going to get the lyrics and they're going to resonate with this, and this will mean something to them.
Was that the end of it? Was that 6 minutes?
I'd imagine.
EastEnders drum roll.
No, they're not going to go that route. Okay, there we go. Nightwish and Lanternlight. Andy, over to you.
Okay, Nightwish for me, I do like them as a band. I've got several albums. We've done quite a few.
Done a few, yeah.
On the channel. But we were talking about earlier how we consume music, and they're one of those bands where I've probably got 4 or 5, but they haven't got the airplay they deserve. Funny enough, this week I've had a bootleg sort of Tara era compilation.
Okay.
So it's sort of like Century Child album and the first few Tarja albums, and obviously really enjoyed that. I think this is Nightwish. But it's a sort of mid-album sort of segue, sort of interlude track, isn't it? I wondered if we've got that beautiful piano and vocal intro. Well, I wrote it down as an intro, thinking the song was going to build and go somewhere, but it didn't. It kind of just gradually grew throughout the song, but it didn't go too much further than just Floor's vocals and the piano. There's a bit of sort of subtle synth in there as well at times, and sort of string effects. I mean, it was a really nice track, but I think you said, Dave, to get the full picture, you need to find out what the concept of the song is.
You need the lyrics.
You need the lyrics, but
you need to connect with it.
As a track, it is the sort of thing I really do like. I mean, it's such a contrast from the extreme doom and death metal I listen to, but it's like the track "A Distance There Is" on the Theatre Tragedies debut. That is just Liv Christine and a piano, and it's an absolutely beautiful song. It's more the pitch of the piano on that song is higher than this one. This was sort of quite sort of mid-range in the sort of piano notes that were being played, but it's really, really nice song. I love the visuals. I like the sort of the piano being left in the snow. The trade-off with the male vocalist towards the end was quite interesting as well, so it just broke it up a little bit. But it's I think one of you said it's a strange choice as a promotion for the new album. It's not a real indicator of what the album is going to be like, I wouldn't imagine.
Be surprised.
But it's a really nice track, but it's one of those that's sort of in the middle of the album, just to break things up, and not one that you'd probably promote with a single and a video, or play on the live stage. Well, maybe you would, just to again break up the live set. I don't know. Depending, I'd imagine Nightwish get a good couple of hours on stage when they play. But yeah, enjoyed it. But it doesn't really tell you what sort of 2024 Nightwish are sounding like.
I mean, I sit there and look at that, and I'm kind of. There are videos that we do which make me have an opinion one way or another, and I'm feeling really indifferent by this. So
Okay.
normally I'm like, I fucking love that, or that was shit, I fucking hate that. But
You don't know where you are with this.
if this was playing on an album, if I was transfixed and doing something else, I wouldn't jump on it. I wouldn't like switch it on to something else. It's not making me want to skip to the next track. But if I was bothered enough and actually paying attention, I probably would, because I would be like, oh, it's almost like a background thing for me.
Yeah.
When I listen to this. But when we hear or we think of Nightwish of so like Poets in the Pendulum, like what's that, 13-minute songs, Greatest Show on Earth, which is like what, 23 minutes. There were always these clean section interludes, and this feels like this was something where, because they came off the last tour, Flor was pregnant, was going to go off and do that, and what they needed to go in and start writing is they went off and started writing stuff for the album. And this almost feels like Thomas went off and wrote this piano piece with the idea that it was going to go in on a bigger song, and they then never wrote that big song.
Yeah.
I went, but we've got this like 4-minute here, really nice piano piece. Can we make this into a separate song on its own? And Flor's lyrics kind of went, she did some nice vocal melodies. She went, we've almost got a song here, let's just finish it off, and that'll be a nice little 6-minute track, rather than go, we need to build another big
Either
track
end of it, yeah.
and put it into something we think it's good enough to stand on its own without needing the bits either side. Whereas I'm looking at it going, this would have worked great as an interlude part somewhere amongst something else, because it was one-dimensional emotionally. And it's the sort of song that when you connect with it and you find a personal connection with that song, like you did with The Cure's Cold,
Yeah.
you get a personal connection with a song that elevates that song to such a high level, it means so much more to you. There are going to be people that listen to this and that will happen to them. Me listening to it, I'm looking at it going, I don't feel one way or the other. I don't think I didn't like it, I didn't dislike it.
Yeah.
And in half an hour's time or an hour's time when I'm sitting there with a steak and mixed grill, I won't even remember that we've reviewed it, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my head's at on it. It's not the song that's going to convert me to go, oh, I really have to go and check out the rest of the Nightwish. And if someone said, oh, but the whole vibe of Nightwish's new album's like this, I'll be like, I'll just skip it and wait for the next one.
I think I'll agree with you that it's a nice standalone track, but if this is what...
If the vibe of
Yeah,
this...
if this is
I know
the
it's
vibe
not
of
all
the
going to
album.
be piano
Yeah.
pieces, but if the vibe is
Yeah.
this and they haven't got that dynamic elements of the power that they did on Historic, because even the last album before this didn't stand out for me. Endless Form's Most Beautiful, great album, really loved it. And then the last one that came on, which was Nature 1 and Nature 2, I was so indifferent about that album. It never showcased the ability they had on previous albums to me. It felt a little bit like rudderless, or I think that's the right word for it, but Kirk.
Yeah, I think we've got to ask the question, why are they releasing that as a single? So we know 20 years ago it would have made sense, because you had to get your music, certainly in America, on rock radio. And if you want to bring in a wider audience, you are going to put a ballad on there, aren't you? So they've not done it for that. Have they done it to get on a Spotify playlist? Probably not, because if that's not representative of your album, you're not going to probably bring those fans in if they're expecting 10 songs like that. So it's got to be deeper personal meaning to the band. I think, and you can understand why you don't even care if it's a ballad. Who's going to listen to it? It's like, I want to put this out, I need a video to it. So I'll completely respect that, the integrity behind it. If that's the case, I'm sure it is. Musically, parts of that reminded me of Tori Amos. I'm a big fan of her work, especially the first 5 albums. She has that delightful contralto voice, and you can hear those pianos that are kind of like winter footsteps in the snow, very delicate, beautiful melodies. It just didn't go anywhere, the song. And I think because we didn't know what to expect, we tried to impose our own predictions on what was going to happen. And you and I looked at each other, it's like, here it comes, part 2. And it just revisited. Like, the drums didn't come in, there was no distorted guitar.
There was no build to anything, yeah.
So I think you're right, actually. It's a type of song that you will find meaning in it. You do need to read the lyrics. And I think second and third time, I'd appreciate it even more. But
The thing is, if it does, someone connects us with if the person that this connects with will defend this song to the hilt.
Yeah,
they will fucking fight you in the streets over how great this song is because it means so much more to them. Whereas someone who has no connection to it goes, it's just rudderless. It doesn't really do anything.
Well, we think it sounds like a segue track on an album, no, an album transition piece, which clearly it's not.
It's because when you talk about songs, you always sort of say you've got the intro, you elevate it, you take the energy levels up, then you can drop it back down. The energy levels here just did this.
Yeah.
There wasn't really any point. Now that build up when we heard after the first time, whatever you would call the chorus, if there was a chorus, I don't even know if there was a chorus, didn't feel natural. There just seemed to be a vocal line. But when that chorus after that came in, the piano's still going, but then you started hearing some strings in the background. You're like, okay, now he's going to bring the layers in. The layers are going to build, and then it's going to go somewhere. And then it's like, layer, layer, layer. Back to the first piano piece. You're like, what? Hey?
Yeah, it just seemed to...
What's that going on about?
The mood of the song, it was a lingering song, wasn't it? There wasn't like a constant tension and then you're waiting for the release.
Was it sad? Was there a sorrowful element to it? Because she was looking quite positive and she was singing quite emotionally.
I didn't get any sorrow from it,
but it feels melancholy.
Right. It did linger, but no, it wasn't sorrowful, which
wasn't uplifting though either.
No,
reflective, wasn't it? Yeah,
there we go. Yeah.
It's reflective. Yeah,
it's a poignant moment where
which you can only reflect if you know what to reflect on. And the word Lanternlight doesn't really give me any direction.
Well, I think you were saying though, maybe it is about. She's a new parent. Maybe it is about guiding your children.
And that's the only thing I could pick from. Is it a case of leading the way forward? So the old piano, that piano reminds me of the one that was used in the song Elan. They use an old piano like that he plays in a wood. So I'm wondering if there's something about putting the past of the band aside, and it's the Lanternlight moving forward. The story of people's, maybe the video, because the video, it can't be them or their parents, because that video would look like it was shot in the 60s, 70s kind of area. So maybe it's parents or parents. So was it a case of, or was there a historical event that this relates to? You know, when we have, like we talk about in like World War II, when all the kids were moved away from a war zone and then they all came back home. Was there a Finnish?
Yeah, Finland.
So was there something that happened
unfortunately ended up on the wrong side in World War II, yeah.
So was there an element in Finland? Because it does feel like 1950s, 1960s, old, recoloured, grainier footage. It doesn't feel like something that was shot from like the 80s. The footage doesn't match up that way. So there feels like there's a historical tone. We would need the lyrics to really dissect it. But that's the hard thing when you're doing a video review for the very first time. You haven't got any of that context. People sometimes say to us, well, you need to research. I'm like, but not everyone in the world is ever that's gonna see this video or hear this song is going to do the research before. Plus so this is your first time. We're trying to give you a genuine thought process that people are going to go through. And that's exactly how we're feeling about it.
Yeah, our review and delivery of this and thoughts on this song and video would be very different if we went away and
completely analysed
the song, looked at the lyrics, found out the concept behind the creation of it. It'd be a very different video.
There's no spontaneity there, is there?
And then what you'd have is people going, us saying it's an amazing song, and then someone else listening to it for the first time going, I don't get that. And we're like, because you haven't done the research. No one ever does the research.
And some will say we've got that wrong as well.
Yeah, we get accused of being wrong all the time, but I don't know. Let us know what you think about Lanternlight and Nightwish in the comments down below. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.